Hey guys, welcome back to the Giovanni Show. Today we have a guest on that we had very frequently last year. Conor Myles is joining our show today. Before I let him say hello to you guys, I just want to let you guys know that you can use code GeoThePodcaster on SeatGeek to save $20 off of any ticket order. So make sure if you want to go see a Birds game and see the Birds play miserably like they have, I know me and Connor are going to subject ourselves to that torture next month in November. So make sure to use code GeoThePodcaster to at least save yourself $20. Connor, welcome to the show.
I did kind of clench up thinking about how I'm going to spend all this money on Kevin Patula's offense.
Dude, it grinds my gears just thinking about the fact that we're going to have to pay. I mean, I don't know if you've taken a look recently at the ticket prices of that game that we're going to go to, but it is $200 for a standing ticket.
Yeah, I think they're only going to increase too because at the time that the Eagles and Lions play, I know what happened against the Giants and I know what happened against the Broncos, but their talent is going to figure it out eventually to string together tough wins. And then by the time that they play the Lions, these guys are going to be fighting for playoff implications still, and it will matter down the line at the end of the season. This game, so these guys are going to take this game very seriously, talent for talent. So that game's just going to the ticket prices are going to keep going up. So definitely use SeatGeek.
Yeah. And I mean, also, I think that I don't think these guys are going to make it all the way after seeing how sloppy that they've played, but I do think they'll make it into the playoffs and get eliminated. But welcome on to the show, Connor. We have a lot to talk about. A lot of drama in the Philadelphia Eagles recently with AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley. A lot of people making up different things. As always, no different than what we know with Philly media. But I wanted to talk about this AJ Brown situation from the start. I know AJ Brown had a tweet this week that was kind of alarming to some Eagles fans, kind of clearing up some misconceptions about his talk with Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. And he kind of shut down some rumors when it came to that. So, what are your thoughts on this AJ Brown situation?
I mean, I see a lot of people saying like this is all overreactionary stuff. There's no way that the Eagles can even move on considering the dead cap with his recent contract extension. Like this is all overblown, but I it's hard for me to say that it is when the body language is just right there. Like he can somebody point to me where AJ Brown does not look dejected from the whole entire team this season? Like I can't find like one thing that where he doesn't look like he's completely dejected and checked out. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. Like I have to go with what I'm seeing. And uh, look, the thing about AJ Brown is talent for talent. He knows this too, and so does the rest of the league. And I think this is what frustrates him the most is that he can be a top three wide receiver, and he is. Just hands down. I mean, the guy is the Julio Jones of this decade. Like there's no stopping him once he gets the ball in his hands, and it's proven time and time and again. I mean, the one thing that I'll always remember that AJ Brown did that I thought was humanly impossible as a football player and receiver was that touchdown he had against Washington. That one year in Washington, I mean, that it was out of this world catch that I don't know how he made it and scored. And that's just the talent that he is. So, of course, if you're that talented, why wouldn't you be frustrated when you're not the vocal point or the guy? I get it. But at the same time, he knows he's a winner. Go look at the Super Bowl at the end of the Super Bowl when they're all cheering for the Lombardi. I have it up on my screen right now. It's my computer background where they're all touching the trophy. He's the happiest guy in the picture. He's around Darius Slay. He's around Jalen Carter. He's around all these guys, even Moro Jomo and Mekhi Becton, and yet he has the most happiest reaction touching that Lombardi trophy. So it's just frustrations that are mounting, and I don't think that means he wants to leave Philadelphia, though. Would you be alarmed if he wasn't frustrated, Gio? I would be.
I'd
I'm
be
like, what?
alarmed too. Yeah,
So
I'd be alarmed too.
the thing about this generation of watching sports is that social media and is just overbearing. It's just way overbearing. It creates way more of a void than it needs to because there's constant speculation, there's constant eyes on you, there's constant rumors and allegations and stuff being posted and opinions, and then people turning on you because of these opinions that these athletes got to deal with. Can you imagine compiling that all together with the frustrations you already have of I know I'm one of the best players and I'm not producing like what? Of course it's gonna be frustrating. Of course he barely even wants to talk to the media anymore. The big thing about that whole thing where he pretty much said like I don't even there was no players meeting and all that stuff was the fact that he didn't want to talk to those guys
Yeah.
after a loss like that. He didn't
He
want the media in his
literally
face.
he literally said, I don't recall. That's all he said.
He did not want to speak on that situation, and he didn't really want to speak, period, to the whole media after losing that way to the Giants and being involved as he was. And I don't blame him. Why would you?
Yep.
It's it's just a scare of the TO situation. It's just a scare of the Philly media. And I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't care what they say. I don't care what anybody says online or their opinion wise or anything like that. You can't tell me that Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown are on they have the same relationship that they once had before because they don't. I'm sorry. Like I don't know anything about it. I'm not there. So you can roll your eyes at this and say, I'm gonna take that speculation with a grain of salt. That's fine. But Brandon Graham told it to you accidentally before, and he would know more than I would. So it's just not the same. Is it repairable to the point where they can be professionals and continue to play football and make millions of dollars doing their jobs and performing at the highest level and win with the Philadelphia Eagles? Absolutely. That's what they signed up for. They have to. That's what those players are at the end of the day. Jalen Hurts is just a winner. AJ Brown is just a winner. Like, because if you go back to what AJ did in Tennessee, he was frustrated there too.
Yeah.
He knew he could dominate. He knew he was playing second fiddle to Derrick Henry. Do you think he really wanted to be second fiddle to Derrick Henry? No. He elevated Ryan Tannehill's game. Ryan Tannehill was nobody before he went to Tennessee and played with AJ Brown. I'm sorry. Jalen Hurts was at least a somebody, but Tannehill was not. AJ Brown raised Tannehill's overall play and made him a very serviceable quarterback for the Titans because of the production AJ Brown gave him when just tossing the ball up to him. AJ Brown knows he can dominate every NFL team he faces, regardless who's throwing him the ball, and it's been proven time and time again. So I understand his frustrations, but I think what the fact of the matter is just his frustrations are being over amplified with the speculation of his relationship with his quarterback and his relationship with the whole entire team because he wants the ball in his hands. That's just what it is. I don't think we need to read that much more into it and just understand that it's just an athlete being frustrated that he's not performing to the level he knows he's capable of. And the frustrations are just mounting.
So I think this ties into my next thing that I want to talk about, but I just want to also touch on this AJ Brown situation is that I don't think anyone in this offense is happy with the way that Kevin Fatullo is play calling. He's play calling in such a conservative way when he has the talent and the roster, and he's just play calling with this vanilla offense. And realistically, I mean, Jalen Hurts had one of the worst games. I forget exactly what his percentage was for passes over 10 yards, but it was horrendous. It was barely over 30% in this game. And when you have a guy like AJ Brown, who is the size of AJ Brown, who can get the ball, why are we not throwing quick passes to AJ Brown under 10 yards where we know that he can turn up field. We know that he can use his body to get the ball and bully a defender. I mean, realistically, Kevin Fatullo really needs to lose his job. And I mean, you know me, I'm the most optimistic Eagles fan out there. It's hard for me to say any of this because I want to say the Eagles are going to be okay. But I have to face the reality here. This is not looking good. And this is not the same situation that we were at in Tampa last year, where we were saying, oh, maybe there could be a shift. And there was a shift. In this moment against a division rival, this was a huge game to lose.
I think the main emphasis that I like to preach to everybody is that in the NFL, you can't blame one aspect for not working. Like, you can't just blame Kevin Patullo. You have to blame everybody that's part of the problem. And the truth is, he is a major part of the problem. But at the same time, so is the execution. These guys are just not executing plays because the plays are there to be had, and they're just not being made. And that Jalen Hurts is not above criticism because some of the plays he's missing too. But again, routine things that quarterbacks miss consistently too, even the top ones in this league. It happens. This is football. Like, you can't be perfect every single snap. That doesn't make sense. But again, he's not above criticism, and neither is the offensive line. To be honest with you, I mean, I think the most telling thing is if Lane Johnson speaks, everybody has to listen. He's been the longest tenured person on that team. He's been through every coaching staff since Andy Reid left because he was drafted under Chip Kelly. You have to listen when he speaks, and he's telling you this is too predictable of an offense. Now, here's what it really boils down to, though. Kevin O'Toole has worked in the NFL for a while, Gio. He's been on the Jet staff with Todd Bowles. He's been in Buffalo. He's been in Indianapolis. He's been in other NFL organizations and other NFL offenses that have worked at times. So for him to be finally get play calling duties and for it to look this frustrating, it's tough. Like it's tough to understand like why. Like you have all this experience, what's going on. And what it really boils down to is I think Nick Sirianni's offense is very hard to adapt to if you're not the most innovative play caller. And I think the difference between promoting from within with like Brian Johnson and Kevin O'Toole for guys that haven't play called before is you're bringing in this innovation with Shane Steichen where he's already play called before. He can mix his play calling experience into what Nick Sirianni wants from his offense. Kellen Moore, he's done play calling at two separate places in Dallas and Los Angeles Chargers. He can mix in his play calling with what Nick Sirianni wants to bring to his philosophy too. These guys, Kevin O'Toole and Brian Johnson, can't. Like they don't have that experience to lean on to
Yeah.
make it work with Nick Sirianni's philosophy. And I think that's what it boils down to. And it's easy to say, look, that's Howie's and Nick's fault for not hiring a real offensive coordinator. But it's the truth of the matter is it's really hard to when you win the Super Bowl or go to the Super Bowl because everybody's snatched up by then and you're ready to hurry up and get on to that combine phase and prepare to scout players. You need to hurry up and make this hire right away and know that this hire is going to already adapt to what you're doing already, not come in and have to learn on the fly. Because the difference between hiring Shane Steichen was that was a whole new coaching staff. Nick Sirianni's first year with the Eagles, he hired Shane. That was his offensive coordinator. They had the time and the preparation to hire an offensive coordinator. The same thing with Kellen Moore. They got bounced immediately from the Buccaneers, so now they had time to look at offensive coordinators. They had time to do interviews. They had time to make this choice where they got an experienced guy. They didn't have time when they promoted Brian Johnson, and they didn't have time with Kevin O'Toole. They had to hurry up and get going, and that's an excuse though. Like I'm gonna be honest with you right now, that's an excuse because if you're gonna promote from within and you're hiring inexperienced play callers that have never done it before, you better give them a counterattack like what the Buccaneers have done. Because the Buccaneers go through offensive coordinators all the time, and they have a Tom Moore there. Tom Moore's been in this league forever, G. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he's established systems with Indianapolis with Peyton Manning, and he established systems with Tampa Bay with Bruce Arians and whoever they've had a quarterback at two as well. So he's been the constant there to help these first year play callers and offensive coordinators adapt to what they're doing in Tampa Bay, and that's why Tampa Bay's been able to replace them each year. The Eagles don't have that. They need a Jim Caldwell. He used to be the former coach of the Colts. I don't know if you ever heard of him. Great offensive coordinator for the Ravens. Worked with multiple quarterbacks in this league. They need somebody like that can establish the solitude of what this offense needs to be, and he can help that play caller adapt on the fly and become the offensive coordinator he needs to become. Whether it be Frank Reich, Jim Caldwell, anybody like that. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna throw a little wild card out there for your podcast because I've had this theory for a little bit now, and I don't know why Nick Sirianni has not looked into it. There's a former quarterback that Nick Sirianni's best friends with that he worked extremely well with, and the quarterback thinks of Nick Sirianni as a great coach as well. Philip Rivers. I don't know why he's coaching high school football right now. He clearly wants to coach. I don't know why there hasn't been a contact between him and Nick Sirianni about a consultant role, bringing him
Yeah.
in, growing him as a coach. Because I think if anything, if you're trying to find a constant, he would grow up in the coaching ranks pretty quickly. Philip Rivers would among NFL teams, but it would still take that period to get there because teams are going to be like, all right, he's just getting into coaching. I don't know if I want to touch that yet. Let me watch him develop a little bit more. So the Eagles could probably get a solid couple years out of him to figure this whole thing out
Yeah.
to get that constant. But he is so innovative. Like he had to work with North Turner, he had to work with Marty Schottenheimer, he had to work with Nick Sirianni in coaching staffs at some point. He had to work with Anthony Lynn, all these coaches, and he had to go to Indianapolis, and he was really good in Indianapolis with Frank Reich and because he worked with Frank Reich in San Diego too, but he was good in Indianapolis for them that one year that he went there. He's very innovative quarterback, and I would love to have him in there now that he's coaching too. And bring the same thing to the Eagles. So I don't know why that hasn't been explored yet. I would honestly, if I'm Nick Sirianni, I don't. Maybe it has been, and maybe if Rivers turned them down because he likes being the head coach of the high school team that he's head coach right now and being with his family. But that's something I would look into. I would try to hire him as an offensive consultant.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that could be really huge for the Eagles. I didn't even think about that to be honest, but I know, and that's just not something I know that you just kind of had these crazy ideas sometimes that I'm like, wow, that's a really good idea. Um,
Thank you.
Connor knows everything about every sport. I always say that. And it's like the most randomest thing. And this guy literally just sits around and looks up the most randomest people who play any sport ever, I swear. Um, but
You're
anyway,
wrong.
I think the next thing that I want to talk about is just I mean, dude, even this defense just completely collapsed. So I seriously think the issue is just the fact that this team hasn't lost in so long that they forgot what losing feels like. They had a short week of practice. I know that just off Jalen Hurts' press conference alone, saying that he was excited that they had a short week and he was excited to get back out there. I know from that fact alone, they were going through this practice this week with a lot of emotions after that loss. Um, and they wanted to get back out there, and they really it seems like they rushed it, and they were really playing with emotion and trying to get it back out there and set the tone with a win. But ultimately, it screwed them up more, and now they have a more important game ahead of them with even more pressure on them because they went out and lost two in a row.
I don't think they took the Giants serious. I didn't. I think they got smacked in the face because they didn't take that game serious. I feel like they just were too confident that they were going to beat them no matter what because they usually do. And I don't think they. I mean, it was a short week, and that's just me saying that. But like the quarterback made his third career start. He had no receivers that he was used to play. They don't have their star receivers right now. They didn't have Slayton or Neighbors. Their offensive line's not that great at all. I mean, Scabedo's like a rookie too. Fourth round pick. I mean, that guy. I mean, they it doesn't. I think they play down to their competition. I don't think they took them that serious. I think they just assumed they're going to win that game, and they got to stop that. They got to stop this assuming the talent's going to get them to win games because that's not how you win in football. I know they had a super, like everybody says the Eagles had a super team, but you can have all the talent in the world. It doesn't matter if the execution's not there and the coaching's not there. It's not going to work. The Eagles had the dream team before. They had no, on the paper they had one of the best teams ever with that dream team. It didn't matter. They sucked. They were terrible. They had terrible coaching. They had no execution. They had no rhythm. They had no consistency. So I mean, you got to stop this mentality that we're more talented than you. We're just gonna win. Like that's just not gonna work. Especially after getting being the defending champs. You're gonna get everybody's best every single week. Everybody, there's a reason why the Giants are all hype and going crazy and celebrating that win the way they are. And there's a reason why the Broncos did too. And it's going to be every single team that the Eagles lose to this year is going to act that way because they're the defending champs. That is that is a morale booster and that makes your locker room get energetic and alive. Like, oh, we can really do this thing. We might actually have a chance this year because we knocked off the defending champs. So I don't like that's just what you're going to get everybody's best every single game. So you can't go into that game thinking we're more talented on paper than the other team. We're just going to win based off of that. It's not going to work this year. It's just not.
Yeah.
So I mean, the defense to me is not going to work because Vic Fangio's system relies on pass rush. And if anything, that game just showed how important Jalen Carter is.
That's what I was just about to say.
He just got like $100 more million to his deal
Yeah.
added. Like that's how if he's that pivotal to make that defense work. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, I know it hurts that Nolan Smith is out, but they're rushing Jalen Hunt's uh development because they have no choice. They don't have guys out there, which is unfortunate because it's making him look like he's not a good player when he really is. He's a good player. I trust his development, but it's just too soon. That postseason that he just had kind of like made them over project, and they're missing Josh Sweat. They really are. Everybody talks about all these players that they're missing. The player they're missing the most is Josh Sweat. I keep seeing everybody say we're missing Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, we're missing Darius Slay, we're missing Isaiah Rodgers. No, guys, we're missing Mill Williams. No, we're missing Josh Sweat. We really
Yeah.
are. They don't have that edge presence that actually keeps offensive line coaches prepared at night to coach their guys. And until they get that, I mean their defense is not going to be the same as it was last year until they get that. That's just the truth of the matter. They're not going to be the number one defense in the league until they have that edge presence. And Zadarius Smith is great and all, but I mean he was brought in to be the BG of these guys, like to occasionally spell these guys and bring a pass rush presence. They need another guy, whether it be Jalen Phillips or Bradley Chubb. I mean, I would prefer Bradley Chubb. He's had a sack in every game this season so far, and has been very disruptive. And he's played with Vic Fangio in Denver and in Miami, so I think that'd be the perfect addition. But if you want to make a splash, go ahead and see if Cincinnati's mailing it in for. They're not. They're not. I don't think they'll trade Trey Henderson because I mean they just made that move for Flacco. I think they're gonna. I mean, their division's wide open. I get it. They're gonna go for it until Bro's back. But they got whether it be like on the Saints, there's Carl Granderson on the Saints. I think would be a great addition. There's edge guys out there you can trade for on teams that are rebuilding or looking towards rebuilding. That the Jets, Will McDonald and Jermaine Johnson, just you got to get somebody. I don't care who it is. You got to get somebody else because they cannot win with that edge group that they have right now, and that defense is not going to be. I mean, they can win with it, but they cannot be the number one or because it what the thing is with the Eagles this year is, and it kind of was last year too at some points. Because remember, it took them forever to score first quarter points last year,
Yeah.
and they won the Super Bowl still. Want to know why? Their defense. Defense is the best in the NFL. You have the best defense in the NFL. You're going far. I promise you. No matter what the offense is looking like. So that defense is not going to be carrying team caliber until they get a pass rush presence. I know cornerback two is a very gashing hole in this team right now. But it would look so much better if the quarterback is being pressured while he's throwing at that cornerback too. I promise you. And he's just not. These guys are not getting home and they're not finishing up when they do get home. So that's the problem.
Yeah, and I mean, when you said we do miss Isaiah Rodgers and everything, we do. I mean, we do. But
Oh, they
I
do.
really do understand what you're saying when you say about Josh Sweat because he really was the consistency of the Philadelphia Eagles for so long.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I understand why everybody talks about Isaiah Rodgers. He's young. He's doing great with Minnesota this year. I don't understand why we don't have the same energy for Darius Slay though. I don't understand why they couldn't let him play his last year in Philly. I really don't.
Yeah.
Like we don't have that answer for cornerback two right now. So let's have the guy who wants to play his last year here play here, and let's worry about that again the following year when we have more of a clear vision of what Cooper DeJean is and what Quinyon Mitchell is. But I don't understand that one. That one didn't make sense to me. I would have kept Slay,
Yeah.
but. Rogers didn't
And I
get signed
mean,
for that much
he
money
wanted
either.
to
He
be
got like
here.
2.8 million.
Slay
Yeah,
wanted to be here.
I don't understand those moves, but the number one person they're missing, no matter what, in my opinion, is Josh Sweat.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just to touch on that Slay thing, you could say it's because of his beef with Chauncey Gardner Johnson, but I mean, they got rid of him anyway, so I would have kept Slay and gotten rid of
That was
Chauncey any
overblown.
day, but
Oh,
it was overblown.
that was another that was just another yeah, that's just another everything that media overblew. That was just overblown.
Yeah, I
But yeah.
think that that's just the toughest part of Philadelphia is that they have the toughest media, and it just makes
No,
it
you're under
that
the
much
microscope
harder.
constantly and it's gonna be talked about for weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you wake up every on Monday after a loss and you listen to WIP and it is uh screaming and just craziness, it is hard to be an Eagles player. I can only imagine.
100%, absolutely. I mean, that's I can understand how people would be like, "Oh, the media's gonna tear these guys apart," and I kind of understand that because I mean, at one point in time, the media portrayed Deshaun Jackson as a gang member, and he got released. Like, not that wasn't the main reason why he got released, but it definitely it helped. So I mean, it does have power.
Yeah, 100% it does. Connor, thank you so much for joining the show this week, my guy. Hopefully next week we're talking about an Eagles win.
Yeah, they'll bounce back. I mean, Minnesota's not going to be a slouch team, but this is like one of the games where you're like, oh yeah, the Eagles bounce back in because I mean, they always lose the game that you don't expect them to lose. And then they just bounce back and win against the game that you're like, because you're always after that loss, when they lose against a team that you don't expect them to lose to, after that loss, everybody's out on them, they're completely down on them, and they motherfucker. Do you think they had us in the first half? Because then they'll
Yeah,
come back the next week and then they'll beat the team that they were like, whoa, what the hell? So I
yeah.
mean, I mean, Vegas has them as 2.5 favorites right now, I think. So I mean, there's a reason why.
I mean, I think that this is this. I know I talked about it before in the show. I think that this could be potentially maybe the Tampa of this year.
Could be.
So
I mean, well, it'll be fun. I I seen people make comparisons to the 2018 Eagles, and I completely understand that, and I kind of am on there on that same wavelength too, because I mean, Mike Groh was as useful as Kevin Patul's been so far, to be honest with you. So, and that's not just that. They lost a lot of guys from that Super Bowl team that they felt that they could replace, and it didn't really work out that way. So I kind of see the parallels, but they did every game for them was a dogfight that season, and they did make the playoffs. But I mean, again, they won a playoff game by a double doink, and then they went to New Orleans and lost. I mean, they almost won, but they still lost to New Orleans. So I mean, uh, I do see the parallels between the 2018 Eagles and the 2000 this year's Eagles, but they have way more talent than that team did at least, so they can definitely
yeah.
overcome it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Just need to get the chemistry on point. And Connor, I'll be talking to you tomorrow next week about an
Sure.
Eagles win. Let's cement it right now.
I hope, sir.
Go Birds!
Birds.